On the news, NAF airstrikes kills scores of terrorists, destroys logistics and hideouts in Niger State. APC confirms Ganduje's resignation, appoints Ali Bukar Dalori as acting chairman. Nigeria and Gabon seek closer economic and diplomatic partnership as presidents meet. Nigeria hides in this article. We begin with security, where the Nigeria Air Force has launched a series of precision airstrikes in Niger State, killing scores of terrorists and destroying their logistics and hideouts. The operation, carried out under Operation Fasanyama Sector 1 between June 24 and 26, 2025, is in response to recent attacks and criminal activities in the region, including cattle rustling and assaults on local communities. According to a recent statement released by the Director of Public Relations and Information at NAF headquarters, Ehimen Ejodame, the air raids were launched in close coordination with other military and security agencies, providing critical support to ground forces engaged in ongoing counter-terrorism operations. NAF noted the operation showcases its growing capability in delivering rapid, coordinated responses to threats, as well as its commitment to interagency collaboration. And away from security, Ali Bukar Dalori has assumed the role of the acting national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, pursuant to a directive by President Bola Tinubu and following the resignation of Abdullahi Ganduje from the position. Ganduje had tendered his resignation letter to the National Working Committee through the APC's National Secretary, Ajibola Bashiru. APC spokesman Felix Moka disclosed Dalori will be the acting national chairman until the party's National Executive Committee meets. And in other stories, President Bola Tinubu has hosted the Gabonese President Brice Oligui Nguema at the State House in Abuja. The strategic meeting held behind closed doors focused on strengthening diplomatic relations and economic cooperation between both nations. Speaking to State House correspondents, President Nguema expressed his commitment to strengthening South-South cooperation with Nigeria.
Déjà merci et
first of all, in terms of ambition, the purpose of our visit here in the State House of Nigeria and meet with His Excellency President Bola Tinubu was to thank him for his support he afforded us during the transitional period in Gabon.
Les affaires au Gabon en ce moment ça marche. Et comme j'ai échangé avec mon homologue.
Well, things are going very well in Gabon right now, and as I said to His Excellency President Bola Tinubu, we are for South-South cooperation, and we believe that it will be a good thing that the Nigerian companies come to Gabon and work and invest in the oil, manganese and mineral fields. As I said, those companies should come to Gabon and invest more. Things are going very well.
Et commencer également à travailler, à développer le pays à nos côtés.
In other stories, the Nigeria Police Force has concluded investigations into a high-profile corporate fraud case involving 3 Ghanaian nationals and a Nigerian accomplice identified as Abu Arome. This was revealed by the Force Public Relations Officer, ACP Muyiwa Adejobi, who said the suspect illicitly increased a company's share capital and fraudulently allocated 99 million shares to themselves using forged documents and falsified signatures. They also allegedly misrepresented themselves as Nigerian citizens before the Corporate Affairs Commission to facilitate their fraudulent activities.
We wish to reaffirm that Nigeria remains a country governed by the rule of law. We welcome genuine foreign investment and international partnerships that operate within the confines of legality and mutual respect. However, no individual, foreign or local, will be permitted to undermine our legal systems, dispossess Nigerian citizens of their legitimate assets, or distort facts in the global media to escape accountability. The Inspector General of Police of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, IGP Olukayode Adielu Egbeto Okeke, NPM reiterates the commitment of the Nigerian police force to professionalism, impartiality, and justice. We urge the media, the public, and our diplomatic partners to respect the investigative and judicial processes now underway and refrain from narratives that may be injurious to truth, fairness, or international relations. We want to thank you for your attention and urge all stakeholders to allow justice to take its full course.
Ahead of the upcoming by-elections in 12 states, the Anambra governorship election and the 2025 FCT Area Council polls, the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, has warned politicians against inciting violence or engaging in electoral malpractice, delivering the warning through the Director of Internal Security during a meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security in Abuja. Ribadu said the government will crack down on offenders and boost intelligence to prevent election-related threats. INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu also urged better coordination to address rising insecurity, especially in areas previously affected by political violence and non-state actors.
Today's meeting is holding in the middle of two electoral activities. These activities require security deployment, and there are three of them. First is the conduct of by-elections to fill vacancies in 16 constituencies, in 2 senatorial districts, 5 federal constituencies, and 9 state assembly constituencies. The by-elections will be held in 12 states of the Federation, involving 32 local government areas, 356 wards, and 6,987 polling units. The by-elections will be held on the 16th of August 2025. To aid your operational plans, the full delimitation details of the 16 constituencies are enclosed in your folders for this meeting, and the same information is also available on our website.
Our primary objective remains to safeguard the integrity of the upcoming elections. Therefore, we must ensure that eligible voters across the country or in the affected part of the country exercise their right to vote without fear or intimidation. In this regard, we will strengthen collaboration between the various security agencies to quickly address potential threats and challenges during the elections. Accordingly, the security component of ISIS will, among others, intensify intelligence efforts to monitor and preempt any threat to these elections and provide real-time intelligence to enable the implementation of proactive measures.
Health and development experts are calling for increased investment in innovation to strengthen immunization programs, improve healthcare access in Nigeria's underserved communities. The call was made during a panel discussion hosted in Abuja by the Save the Children International Nigeria in partnership with pharmaceutical giant GlaxoSmithKline. Speaking at the event, the Director of Programs and Operations at Save the Children International Nigeria emphasized the urgent need to adopt innovative solutions to close immunization gaps, noting that over 2.1 million Nigerian children remain unvaccinated, even in urban cities like Lagos.
What we want to look at is, what are these things that have continued, that have kept many of our children unimmunized, despite the efforts of everyone, both the government, and development partners. We work with the community structures, the community leaders, the religious leaders, and the women, most importantly, to understand what are the barriers to vaccine acceptance in those communities. Then we come up with specific approaches that are tailor-made for that location and acceptable to them. It's not just about where these states are located, because we found out that even in the states that are urban, such as Lagos, we have a high number of unimmunized children in some of the local government areas. We currently implement a project called Boost in Lagos and Kano states, which is working with the state government, the local government, and community structures to reduce number of zero-dose and unimmunized children.
Strike action is also a concern. How do we support? We have what we call migration policy, where the government have promised that the health worker who work at the rural area and how to reach area will be given incentive. That has not been implemented. So these are bottlenecks, poor training. And you know, when people work and you don't engage them in decision making, they are not on the table. When you are taking decision, you just take the decision, you create the policy and give them to implement, is also a bottleneck. So when are we going to have a nation where we're going to have a co-creation policy, where we bring the health worker at the field, at the front line, the nurses, the midwife?
The Zonal Coordinator of the Nigeria Customs Service, Zone A Lagos, ACG Charles Obi, has commended the Seme Area Command for its outstanding performance during a visit to the ECOWAS Joint Border Post on June 25. Received by the Comptroller General Ben Oramalugu, Obi reviewed the command's operations and commended its revenue generation of over 3.57 billion naira and exports worth 47 billion naira from January to May 2025. He also acknowledged key seizures valued at 889 million naira and recent infrastructure upgrades. Obi urged officers to uphold professionalism, emphasizing the service's 2025 goals of modernization, transparency, and regional integration.
We discussed internal problems, internal issues relating to their well-being, how we should be able to carry out duties and responsibilities that will promote the name and image of the department. For us to be able to actualize our set goals, especially our revenue generation, trade facilitation, and anti-smuggling activities are spelled out in the department for the year 2025. We to tell our custom officers in this command to operate with dignity. Let them bring out the best as far as customs operations is concerned. They should not go about to soil the name of the department. And I'm telling you, good things are coming their way very soon.
He came to us, he advised us, we listened to his words of wisdom, and we were able to tell him our humble achievements and our challenges. And we hope that he will go back to the management and relate our news. We also use the opportunity to tell him, to tell the CGC that we appreciate what he's doing. We appreciate all the innovative reforms he has brought to custom. We have never had it so good. We want to use the opportunity for him to thank him, that we appreciate, and we will give him all support and loyalty for him to succeed.
The dream of home ownership is becoming an elusive goal for many Nigerians, particularly in Benin Kebbi, the Kebbi state capital. The skyrocketing cost of building materials and labor has placed the construction of even modest homes far beyond the financial capabilities of the average citizen. What was once considered a symbol of stability and personal achievement is now increasingly viewed as an unattainable luxury. This next report has details.
Once a haven of affordable living, Benin Kebbi is now facing a housing crisis as construction costs soar beyond the reach of most residents. What used to be the cost of building a modest two-bedroom home has now climbed to around 7 million naira. Standard residential houses fall between 15 million naira and 40 million naira, while duplexes can cost as much as 100 million naira. For multi-story buildings, estimates range from 200 million naira upward, depending on the scale and finishing. Farouk Udan Sabo, a principal partner at a construction firm based in the city, attributes the surge to multiple factors.
2 to 10% increment. And I believe this is not only peculiar to Nigeria. It's a worldwide issue. Nowadays, people don't want to, it's easier for you to buy a house than to build one because of the building materials. And for example, an iron that we used to buy 6,000 naira is now 12,000 naira. That is more than 100% increase. I think it's 2,150 or so. Okay, we used to buy bag of cement, 3,300 naira. Now, a bag of cement is around 9,500 naira. It's more than, let's say, twice.
Construction sites that once buzzed with activity now lie eerily silent as more people are forced to abandon projects midway. Even traders in building materials are feeling the strain. Artisans, laborers, and small-scale suppliers, once reliant on a steady stream of construction projects, are also struggling with fewer jobs and shrinking incomes. Shafiu Shehu Ambursa, a local dealer, explained that rising transportation costs have significantly inflated product prices. He also blamed frequent damage during transit and the absence of government's control of price.
The company, it is doing based on they are doing anything they want without the second permission from the government. If you go to the other countries, every company does not have a right to increase or decrease the price unless if you get the permission from the county. But rather than the Nigeria, every company in Nigeria has the power and right just to increase or decrease without even notification to the customers. So that's the first problem. And then secondly is about the dollar rate exchange.
Even mortgage options provide no real comfort, with high interest rates and strict eligibility shutting out many aspiring homeowners. The managing director of Kebbi State Home Savings and Loans Limited noted that soaring inflation in the cost of building materials has made it nearly impossible for civil servants to construct homes relying solely on their salaries. He emphasized that for many, the only realistic path to home ownership lies in accessing mortgage loans, which provide more flexible and manageable repayment terms compared to building out of pocket.
The only option that is left for the civil servant is to liaise with primary mortgage banks like Kebbi State Home Savings and Loans Limited, where we can assist the civil servant to use his 25% retirement savings account balance as equity contribution and also finance his housing demand and separate the repayment over decades, over a long period of time that the civil servant can afford it.
As building costs continue to soar and financial solutions fall short, a growing number of Nigerians, especially in Benin Kebbi, are left asking a difficult question. Is the dream of home ownership slipping out of reach? Unless decisive steps are taken to improve affordability and expand access to financing, that dream may remain out of reach for millions of citizens. Joy Uchejim, TV360, Lagos.
We'll take a break here. Still to come on News Now. African Union says DR Congo and Rwanda peace agreement, a milestone towards peace. Details shortly. Thank you for joining us again on News Now. Here's a recap of our top stories. The Nigeria Air Force has conducted precision airstrikes in Niger State, eliminating scores of terrorists and destroying their hideouts and logistics. The strikes carried out under Operation Fasanyama, Sector 1 between June 24 and 26, 2025 were in response to recent attacks, the cattle rustling and assaults on local communities. We also told you that Ali Bukar Dalore has assumed the role of the acting national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, pursuant to a directive by President Bola Tinubu and following the resignation of Abdullahi Ganduje from the position. In case you missed any of our news bulletins, or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360. On business, the Nigerian Senate now has confirmed chairman and board members for the Southwest, South-South and North Central Development Commissions based on reports from relevant committees. Tijani Laura has dropped from the South-South board for failing to submit required documents, while Minority Leader Abba Moro raised concerns over the incomplete leadership of the North Central Commission. Despite this, key appointments were approved. In a related move, Sunday Oludare and Kabir Kataka have confirmed as MD and Executive Director of the NDIC.
Screening exercise, the committee hereby recommends that the Senate do confirm the nomination of the underlisted person as Chairman, Managing Director and members of the Southwest Development Commission. 1. Senator Olubunmi Adebunmi as Chairman, Dr. Charles Akinola as Managing Director, Honorable Bolaji Idris Ario, Member, Joseph Akinolubenga, Member, Honorable Scholastica Olanike Omawurare, Member.
The Senate do confirm the nominations of the unlisted persons as Chairman and members of the Governing Council of the North Central Development Commission. 1. Barrister Cosmas T. Aki, Chairman. Dr. Senyir Siri Yetsin, Managing Director. Dauda Shaibu Kibu, Member. Zakari Haliru Jikantoro, Member.
The nomination of Mr. Thompson Oludare Sunday is hereby confirmed as the Managing Director of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation. The nomination of Dr. Kabir Sabu Katata is hereby confirmed as the Executive Director of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation.
On the foreign scene, the African Union has welcomed the peace agreement signed between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda, calling it a significant milestone towards lasting peace in the conflict-ridden Eastern DRC. The AU Commission's head, Mahmoud Yusuf, who witnessed the signing in Washington, the United States, commended both nations and acknowledged the constructive roles played by the U.S. and Qatar in facilitating the dialogue. Eastern DRC has faced over 3 decades of conflict, recently worsened by the advance of an armed militia reportedly backed by Rwanda. And thousands of anti-government protesters gathered in Bangkok on Saturday, calling for Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra to resign following a leaked diplomatic call that sparked public backlash. The fallout has led a key party to withdraw from her coalition, accusing her of appeasing Cambodia and undermining Thailand's military, leaving her with a slim parliamentary majority. An estimated 4,000 demonstrators rallied at Victory Monument, waving Thai flags and chanting for change. And on sports, Al Hilal captain Salem Al-Dosari has been ruled out of the Club World Cup after suffering a hamstring injury. Medical tests confirmed the injury, and Al-Dosari will undergo a treatment and rehabilitation program lasting 4 to 6 weeks. It is confirmed he will miss Al Hilal's round of 16 match against Manchester City on Monday. Finally, Ruud van Nistelrooy has left Leicester City nearly 10 weeks after the club was relegated from the Premier League. In a statement, the club announced it had mutually agreed to terminate the Dutchman's contract with immediate effect. Van Nistelrooy joined the Foxes in late November following a short stint as Manchester United's caretaker manager, but was unable to prevent the club's drop back to the Championship after just one season in the top flight. That's it on News Now. Many thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.